What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Getaway Podcast, Sports Edition, Episode 3, where we're going to bring you a breakdown of the Final Four matchups, preview it, and give you our predictions for the matchups and eventual champion. Leo, why don't you tell us which matchup intrigues you the most out of these two?
I think out of the two Final Four matchups, the most intriguing one would be Purdue and NC State, in my opinion, because I don't know, I just have a feeling that UConn's just going to run all over Alabama.
Yeah, they've been pretty dominant lately.
They've been just running over everybody, so. But yeah, I think Purdue versus NC State. As far as predictions, I think Purdue's going to win that game, but I feel like it's just going to be a close, hard-fought game. I think NC State is like really physical, really tough defensive team. They may not be the most refined offensive team, but I just really think they're just going to give them a run for their money. And I really think that they're just going to crowd Edey. They're going to try and double team him. They're just going to crowd the paint. They're just really going to try and get after him physically, see if they can get in his head. And I think they're just going to try and make him trust his teammates. So last year when he was forced to trust his teammates, they kind of let him down. I mean, they just shot terribly from the field, and they ended up getting eliminated in the first round. So I think
one seed again to 16,
Yeah, and I think just the best way to stop him is just you got to make, there's just players that are just so great. You just got to make them pass the ball and be like, okay, somebody else is going to have to beat us, not you.
Yeah.
So I really think, like I said, NC State, they play really tough, and they're really going to bring it against Purdue. And I think they're just going to be pumped up, and they're going to be hungry to beat a higher seed. So,
what do you think is going to take for that upset to really happen?
I just think there's just lots of discipline and just good defense, getting stops, and just offensively executing. I think because if you're playing solid defense but on offense, you can't really get it going. I mean, eventually teams like Purdue, teams like UConn, things like that, they'll get it going eventually. So, yeah, the defense and the discipline has to be there. The physicality has to be there. And on offense, they just got to execute.
Yes, exactly.
You got to make them count. You got to make your stops count.
Yeah, being 7'4", 300 pounds. Yeah, you're definitely going to need to be like that.
Yeah, if you're getting if you're stopping them or you're seeing that you're slowing them down, you got to make it count on offense. You got to go and execute on the other end. Personally, I think Purdue is going to get to the final. I think the final is going to be Purdue-UConn, and I think UConn's going to win it. But NC State is going to give them a tough game for sure. They're not going to go down easy.
Nah.
So, and for anybody betting out there, I mean, if you want to bet on NC State, I wouldn't be shocked if they did beat them. They did pull the upset.
Maybe the spread, I heard the spread was 9-point favorite. 9-point favorite. I could see it being a much closer game than 9.
I think it's going to be a way closer game than that for sure. I think it's going to be one of those games going to be a nail-biter.
9-10 points. That's a pretty good lead.
That's a solid win.
Yeah, that you're not very close. You know what I mean? But I could see it being a 5-3-point game, man. Yeah.
Going to try and get physical with Edey and just try and get in his head. And they might throw different big men at him. They might have one possession or a few possessions, like Burns picks him up, the other possessions, Diarra picks him up, and they're going to try and throw different people at him. And if he's driving in, I mean, they're definitely crowding the paint. They're going to throw double teams at him. I think they're just going to throw all these different defensive looks at him and see if they could get him off his game, get him uncomfortable, force him to pass the ball. So I think force his teammates to beat them, not him. So that's going to be a great matchup.
I think that one will be a good matchup.
As far as the UConn-Alabama,
not as entertaining just because of UConn's straight dominance.
I hope it's a close game. Yeah, we all want to watch a great game.
The first half of UConn's last game definitely, looked entertaining.
Yeah, kind of got your hopes up.
You just saw that classic UConn just take over.
Yeah, they just held them scoreless for literally half the second half.
Real time, I always remember the real time was 50 minutes of real time, including halftime and all that stuff. They just sat there without scoring the ball.
They're just well-coached team. They're disciplined. They can play you. They can play you different ways. They can run the fast break. They can run sets. The players are just, disciplined, high IQ kids. They could just ball. And, yeah, they're definitely going to be ready to ball for sure. I mean, they've been beating teams by 28 every game. So
yeah, I think.
And Alabama, as far as as far as Alabama, like, defensively, they're not really that great. They give up a lot of points.
Yeah. I think they're offensively, they're terrific.
Offensively, they're not bad.
They're very good.
But they gotta get slowed down by UConn.
Yeah.
I think they haven't played a team that could slow them down yet.
Yeah, what is it? So in the last 10 games here for what is it, Alabama, they are actually scoring less points than their opponents. Yeah. You're never going to win like that. I mean,
especially not against great
you're never going to win like
teams.
that. They're scoring 89.8 points per game, and their opponent is scoring 90.7. I mean, you can't win games like that.
Winning like that. You're not going to beat many teams like that.
Now you're versing a team who outscores their opponents by 20. I mean,
you're facing the best team.
Yeah, good luck, bro. It's. Now, they had a good run. Got to give it to them. They got some great players on that team. Mark Sears, terrific player. He's a very good player lately, hitting threes like crazy. But you're going to have to hit threes like crazy to beat this team. Yeah.
This is the only way I can see them even keeping it close is, like I said, if their offense is just on fire and they're just hitting everything possible.
I think UConn's defense is just too good.
But I think UConn can just slow them down.
Yeah,
not even slow them down, like just lock them up.
Castle on the outside, you got Klingon on the inside, and then
like they can definitely just lock them down. And I think if Alabama can't get any type of offense going today, I really don't see their defense stopping UConn, and I think they're just going to get ran out of the gym.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it's a blowout.
No. That's a 10-point spread, 10, 11-point spread, I think it was.
It should be like a
that
15,
I could see it
20.
being more. Yeah, that one I could definitely see over.
I could definitely see that. You got to be able to stop people. You can't just give up tons of points.
No, you can't give up more than you're scoring. Yeah,
I don't even care how many points you score, but if you're giving up points like that and you're playing a team that can just slow you down, slow your rhythm down just a little bit, I mean, you can't just not stop people.
Yeah.
You got to be able to make defensive plays, and if they can't play defense against UConn, I mean, it's over.
Yeah, I think
UConn's shutting them down, I think.
Pretty boring matchup, honestly. As entertaining as it may be, but, it's...
I could just see that one just being one that, you just change after a while because you're like, okay, they're up by, 30.
Yeah.
They're not coming back.
Always root for a good game, you know what I mean? Always hope
for that.
Man, that one just, on paper, that one looks like it's
UConn is an excellent team.
Yeah. After what they did last week, I don't think there's any question they're the best team in all college.
And just watching them just being an excellent team just had me thinking of other excellent teams. Not collegiate-wise, but NBA.
Okay.
And I was like, what would be the top, of the best teams of each era? Great teams of all time in each era. What would be the Final Four for NBA? Like that. So I was just kind of thinking the KD Warriors.
Okay.
That team was stacked. Yeah. The 95-96 Bulls.
Those Kobe Shaq Lakers.
Kobe Shaq Lakers. Mm-hmm. Even you have teams that they didn't win it, but they were great teams. You had the Supersonics. Those years were good. Mm-hmm. I mean, those Rockets teams were pretty legit.
The ones that did win it?
The ones that won the title. I mean, they were nice teams.
No, we were just talking about this, but did they win it because Michael Jordan wasn't there?
I mean, they were good teams, though.
They were a good team, but would they have won
beat the Magic? The Magic did beat the Bulls.
But yeah. That was so with Michael Jordan coming back, yeah.
Could the Bulls have a person that could slow down Olajuwon?
But did the Rockets have someone that could slow down Jordan?
They had some solid shooters too.
Yeah,
that would have been an interesting series to watch.
Definitely would have been. But
the 14 Spurs was a great team. Mm-hmm. The 05 Spurs was a great team. The 2012 Miami Heat and the 13 Heat.
Yeah, more than 13.
Yeah. Just great teams. Mm-hmm. Just great teams that, I don't know, I wish we could have been able to watch these matchups, have a Final Four of the NBA of all the greatest teams.
Mm-hmm. What about old generation teams? You got the old Celtics, you could say. Yeah. Well, I mean, we could go old, and we could say 69 Celtics were Bill Russell, or 70-71 when the Lakers finally won it with Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, Dale Goodridge.
You had the Bucks team with
Kareem and Oscar. Yeah, how do you think those teams would fare today against teams today?
I don't think they would win against teams today.
You don't think they would win?
Nah, I think the players today are just too advanced,
too skilled.
Right? Yeah, just too advanced on everything, just physically. more advanced, athletically just more advanced, skill-wise just more advanced, IQ-wise just I feel like they'd be more advanced.
Yeah.
Like you just watch some of these high schoolers and some of the plays they make, it's like, damn, that's like an NBA play.
Have you heard of the we're done with the 90s movement that people are trying to like talk about?
Yeah, people are saying that, yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. But I'm telling you, I think that there's every generation you're gonna say that about, like, because you're gonna have old heads, old people.
I feel like in the 90s there was a few teams that
those older guys, like, you're always gonna have them complain about those older teams being, still better because of the physicality and this and that. Where today they don't have the same rules, hand checking and all that stuff. You can't clothesline people or you're ejected.
You can't punch people in the face when you're driving.
Draymond Green, he would be fine back then.
That's his era.
But nowadays he's looked at like the trouble pawn, like that kind of thing. But so people always make that like assumption, I would say. But when you say like they're just so much skilled, like you just they just can't keep up even with the physicality and all that stuff. You think, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of what
I think. There's maybe a few teams in the 90s that could probably like make the playoffs today and maybe like make a run. Like I think like those Bulls teams, I think they could have been pretty legit nowadays too. Because I think
they would have had to change their play style. That's the interesting thing. Like to keep.
Yeah, they would have had to probably shoot more. But I mean, they had shooters.
Yeah.
So it's not like they lacked. It's not like they lacked shooters. Maybe they lacked size in the paint. But I mean, they had shooters, and they had Jordan and Pippen.
Jordan and Pippen were the best 3-point shooters.
Who were great.
Remember, those guys aren't like...
Yeah, but they could just score.
They could score, but in the 90s
they had
ways.
Kerr, Paxson, Tony Kukoc.
They got some shooters. B.J. Armstrong. They
could work. They could work. I don't know. I'm not saying they would win titles, but they could work.
They would look a lot differently. I think every era has its guy. Like, you got the Magic and Bird era, in the 80s.
Yeah.
And like... Bird will be an interesting player nowadays. He's like a taller Luka almost, and then Magic
because you can't even say that he'd be too slow because then you look at Luka Doncic.
Yeah, he's like someone.
But also Luka can pull up from like way back.
Bird, because he's like somewhere in between Luka and Jokic, and you got Larry Bird.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's like a perfect thing for him almost. Like, he could shoot, pass, rebound.
He would do everything.
He'd do everything. He could play, do anything on the court that you need.
And he would probably, like, be able to expand his range, too.
I mean, he had some range on him, though. And remember the game he was shooting all lefty and, like, he was just doing whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
He had that kind of, like, swag, too, back then. Like, bro, people would like him today. That'd be an interesting one.
He just had, like, so many moves, so many skill moves, like, so many fakes and things like that.
Yeah, him and McHale, offensively, off the charts. And, like, McHale is a guy that I can definitely see expanding his range.
Yeah, I think nowadays, like, players have, like, a lot of moves. They just have so many moves,
Yeah. I mean, you look at, like, a
you have to have
NBA.
You have to have
every
moves.
prospect can shoot. Doesn't matter what size they are. Doesn't matter how fast they are. No, they can all shoot. They can all dribble. They all
got their bag. Because nowadays I think like if you don't have like a skill move, like if you don't have like elite dribbling and like good skill moves, like you're just gonna get locked up every game because these dudes are just way too athletic and way like probably back then if you were like fast and strong and you were like solid dribbler, like you could have gotten away with it. So you could have kind of just bulldoze your way through people.
More team
but nowadays, like I just feel like the dudes are just too athletic and too big, and they're everyone's just as strong as you are. Like it's like you have to have skill.
There was a lot of team ball back then where they would run set plays and such, and you knew your shooters, you knew who.
Yeah, you didn't have to do as much by yourself
most of the time. That's why they say Steve Kerr saved Jordan, because it's like Jordan should take that shot, but Steve Kerr took it. They don't, he's the, they don't know, like, you might not have heard of that guy as much as Jordan, obviously, but that guy's a shooter. You got to watch Steve Kerr, man.
That's all he did.
Yeah, exactly. But they had their specialists back then. Like, nowadays, there isn't much specialist.
No,
the most specialist you have is a 3-and-D kind of guy, but he's doing two things. You know what I mean?
And
two very important.
And sometimes
things.
these 3-and-D guys, like they're athletic as hell.
That too, yeah.
Like they'll just get the ball and like they'll just do a quick move and they'll just like dunk on someone. You're like, wow, that's the 3-and-D guy.
Athletic guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like a Trevor Ariza. You know what I mean?
You're
like, is Trevor Ariza athletic? I'm like,
even somebody like
not really, but like he can dunk on you. Danny Green.
Like Danny Green was like oddly, like he was a weird athletic. Like because you only just watch him play defense and shoot threes, and then he'd just drive in and bam, and you're like, wow, like he can do that
toughness.
too.
Like a 3-and-D player needs a little bit of toughness to him to be that 3-and-D, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Have that defensive mentality. They need a little toughness to them, Definitely. But today there's just no Kyle Korvers and guys like that just shoot the ball. There's not a lot of them. Shoot. Maybe a couple here and there, but not a lot of them. That generation, they kind of made that like a thing. Like and now you shoot, and then you got like a guy like Ryan Anderson, who like specifically big man.
I think Curry just like expanded that. Yeah, like Curry was like, I can shoot, but like you need skill too to get open.
Curry showed you how valuable the three really can be.
Yeah,
like how it just changes the game so much.
Because he could have just gone and just been a shooter, but like he's like, no, I can shoot and I have tons of skill,
playmaking.
So now everybody else coming up is like, oh yeah, you can't just shoot. Like you got to be able to have skill. You got to be able to get separation from people. You got to be able to get open, because like I said, these dudes now, like they're like 6'9" with like a 7'5" wingspan. Like you got to get separation. You got to have moves, because if not, you're just never gonna get around them, and you're just gonna get a shot blocked every time.
These defenders are super athletic nowadays.
You definitely need skill for sure.
Lengthy, athletic, all that. Yeah,
it's a whole new game. Mm-hmm. You need everything now.
Yeah.
Back then, I feel like you could get away with not having certain things, but now it's like, no, you need to be like the complete guy.
Yeah, it's always
like just not going to work.
When you're looking at matchups in history, it's always interesting of what era you would play into me. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like if you took today's guys back then, would they succeed the same way they do today? I don't know. If you took some of those guys and put them today, and they changed their play style around a little bit, you know what I mean? There's like I said, that Jerry West, Gail Goodrich combo. They scored 25 points a game, and they didn't even have a three-point line. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's incredible to me. That's incredible. So imagine you put a three-point line. They're easily over 30. Yeah. Easily. So now you're looking at them like, who are these two averaging 30 apiece
all time?
And their big man's Wilt Chamberlain. And, like, they're averaging way more points than him. I mean, Wilt was a little older at the time, but still, like, things are viewed a lot differently with the three-point line, or just with that three-point mentality that we have nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. So if you would have to say your top four fantasy or final four fantasy makeup style of NBA great teams, who's your number one?
Oh, the KD Warriors.
KD Warriors for sure, no question. Yeah, they're the Purdue, huh? Yeah. Well, who would be number two? If you had to pick a number two.
Definitely 95-96 Bulls.
Bulls, I mean, that's expected. You got to go to GOAT.
Those two are like the most obvious ones in my opinion.
Pretty much, I would say. Yeah, it's got to be one of the other. I mean, they've got the win records, 72, 73. So, yeah. And then actually KD doesn't have the win record. Sorry, I said KD had the win record. KD,
he came after. But that team was just stacked.
But he did get them a title. That's what matters. That 73.
He got them too.
Yeah. And so what?
That team was just disgusting.
Third, we got who? Maybe Kobe Shaq.
Oh, yeah, I would probably say like the 01-02 Lakers.
Yeah, okay. So we got them in the mix, and then who's the fourth team that really rounds it out? I know this is a tough one.
Then I would probably say the 14 Spurs. I would say the 13 Heat, but like we did beat them. So
the next year, and you probably should have beat them.
And we should have beat them the year before.
That year, yeah, that's for sure.
So honestly, yeah, I would say that Spurs team for sure. That was a really good Spurs team.
Well-rounded, a little older in the stars, but Kawhi coming.
That was like that was just like weird both finals, because they barely beat us. And then the next year, both teams got back to the finals, and they had the same exact team, and then we just stomped them.
Yeah, it showed that you got lucky.
Like, we just destroyed them.
Chris Bosh rebound, tip out, Ray Allen, knowing where his feet are on the line. Like,
yeah, because that game
worked out for you to be.
Because that game, like, the whole 30 seconds, like, San Antonio was up. Like, they were literally, like, they were already, like, closing shit out and, like, putting the trophy out, because everybody's like, oh yeah, the Spurs they're gonna, like, we were up like a solid amount, and then I think LeBron hit like a mid-range or something and cut it to like 3, and then this dude hits that buzzer beater, and then I was like, okay. And then that, I think, like, when he hit that, I was like, yeah, well, we totally lost this game. I was like, that's demoralizing as hell. There's no way San Antonio's bouncing back in OT. And then on top of everything, in OT, Tim Duncan was like a wide open hook shot. So I was like, yeah, we lost, and then we lost.
The mentality was off.
I was like, we lost the finals after that play.
100%. Yeah.
Like, and that was just to tie the series 3-3. I was like, bro, like, there's no way
like you said, the momentum.
They're not bouncing back. That moment is just so demoralizing that you're just like, you go into Game 7 like, yeah, we should like not even be here.
Yeah,
we should be celebrating. We shouldn't be here.
One of the biggest things in all sports is momentum. If you can carry that momentum, like UConn's doing through the playoffs, they're dominating. We don't think they're going to lose. Like, we think they're going to dominate through. Like, especially after the last game, you're riding that wave of momentum. Yeah. It's the team that gets hot at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, look at Alabama. What we were saying about Alabama, they were 6-4 in the last. They haven't even outscored their opponents.
Yeah, and they're just been winning games.
But they got hot at the right time. They're in the Final Four. You know what I mean? Not many schools can even say they've been in the Final Four, something like that. So it's all is getting hot at the right time. So momentum, especially in a 7-game series, is everything. It's mentality, momentum, all that stuff. Like if you feel defeated, you're defeated, man.
No, yeah. Like that definitely, I was like, yeah, we're not winning Game 7 after that. Like that just shot everyone's like confidence down.
All the way players.
Because like I said, we're going to the next game, and you're like, we shouldn't even be here. Like we should be San Antonio celebrating, but no, we got to play another game against these guys because this dude just hit that 3. And it's like, you can't, the 3, you can't really do anything. Like, he had Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, like, both closing him out. Like, Tony Parker ran out, and he's, like, literally, like, his hands are, like, here. And then, like, Manu Ginobili is, like, on the side here with both his hands up like this, and the dude just hits the shot. You're like, well, like, what else could you do? Like, if you got any closer, you'd foul him. So it's like, okay, well, he just hit that 3 over 2 dudes. Maybe the mistake was taking Tim Duncan out.
I don't know.
Because Popovich took Tim Duncan out for the free throws because he wanted free throw shooters.
I mean, you got to remember, there's not one mistake in sports. There's multiple mistakes that lead up to that one mistake. They could have been up 20 and not even been in that situation. Game was
closed the whole time.
That's my point, is that there was other mistakes made, so that wasn't the only mistake that they made.
And then also, like, I think, like, a couple possessions before that, like, Manu Ginobili split free throws.
See?
But he should have left.
He makes one more and doesn't split them. That's a 4-point game. They win. Yeah. They can't, you know what I mean?
But he should have
all those little things that add up.
He should have left Tim Duncan in.
Basketball games is funny like that. I mean, the sport is, but basketball, like, every point, every missed basket, you know what I mean? Everything adds up. Like, you won't remember that free throw that he missed in the beginning of the game, but it'll come back to haunt you at the end of the game. Exactly. Yeah. So, okay, so Final Four, we're definitely going them Spurs.
Yeah.
In that fourth seed.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2-3. We got Lakers Bulls. Awesome matchup. But who you think? Kobe versus Jordan. Shaq versus whoever the hell.
I might have to pick the Bulls because I feel like they would. I don't know. I feel like they would try and just attack the paint and get Shaq to foul out. I feel that would be their game plan. They would just try and get Shaq to foul out or get Shaq in foul trouble. And I feel like that Lakers seemed like they were good, but they did depend a lot on his presence.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, we need you in the paint at all costs every game. Now, if Shaq doesn't get in foul trouble, okay, like, that paint presence is, like, really hard to beat. But I feel like the Bulls would get him in foul trouble.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Find a way. I think
like,
maybe Rodman
like, first quarter, even just 2 fouls, like, you're on the bench for most of the first quarter. And then
that's the
automatic. Say you get the second quarter, you get another foul, and then the third quarter, you get another foul. Like, you're already at 4 fouls. Like, you already have to bench this guy, kind of save him for the fourth. And you never know. Fourth quarter, you go in, and early you get him a 5th foul. They might have to bench him again. So I'll probably take the Bulls in that matchup.
Hell of a matchup, Kobe Michael, man. That would have been something to see.
I mean, that's a great matchup.
I don't know if there would have been any better matchup in history. I don't know, man. All right, and then what we have the Spurs and the Warriors. I got a feeling I know where you're going to go with this one.
Warriors.
Yeah, definitely. I know even being a Spurs fan has got to kill you, but them Warriors are just too good.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's beating that team.
No, and so even Bulls, you don't think you had a chance against them? No. Yeah, they were that good.
It's just like, you just have dudes that could just pop threes from everywhere and just make them.
1 through 5, death line up to the extreme.
And like these dudes, like just 2 of them get hot, and that's already a problem. And on top of that, you have a third guy that if he gets hot, that's a problem too. Like, And I don't know, like, I don't see anybody who would be able to really match up or even contain Kevin Durant. Steph Curry, like, I think he was, like, whoever the Bulls guards are.
Yeah, I mean,
you're going to have a long day.
Jordan on Curry and then Durant and Pippen. Who's guarding Clay? You know,
yeah, you know,
they always have
and
one
Clay
more
would
guy.
just be able to
Andrew
like run
Wiggins,
around and get open.
Yeah, they always have another guy there that's just ready. And then Draymond and Dennis Rodman would be a hell of a matchup too. That might be Kobe and Michael. That'd be
fight each other.
Yeah, that'd be more of a boxing match.
That'd be a great boxing match to watch.
That'd be more of a UFC fight than an NBA match. Yeah,
but yeah, just the way that Warriors team just moved the ball around too, It's just like you pass the ball to anybody, and like any of these dudes could just drill threes, and and moving without the ball too. Like they just make a pass, and this guy's running around. Boom! Next thing you know, he's like running around, getting the ball like wide open. You're like, how's he open? It's like, well, he just ran through like 6 screens that none of us saw.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
it was insane. Like I said, they could play they played ultimate team ball, but it's funny because team ball is like an older thing. That's what I said before. But like. They have guys that can play team ball and go individual. Like they can take it off the dribble. They have it all. You know what I mean? Draymond obviously couldn't, but he was your defensive anchor. That guy you need in the middle, like glue guy. And they won a lot because of those kind of things, like just those little plays here and there. Yeah,
that team was definitely amazing.
Definitely,
the best team I've ever seen ever.
Yeah, I don't know if any team's ever going to beat that. I can still remember when I heard Durant was going.
Too much scoring, too much scoring.
I just thought, are you kidding me? When Durant went there, like, what are we doing? Like, this is just
especially the situation, how everything happened.
That too, but more so just the team fit. I was like, that's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a team will be much better than that ever.
No.
At least on paper. And even what they did is incredible, but, like, on paper, I don't think it's not even fair.
No. There's way too much scoring and way too much shooting and too much efficiency.
Yeah, definitely efficient.
Yeah, definitely be a very hard team to stop. So, but anyways, I mean,
we're going to get to watching these games.
Going to be very excited to watch these games tonight.
Definitely starting soon, yeah.
You guys let us know your Final Four predictions and who you think is going to win the tournament. And feel free to tell us your top NBA teams of all time and who you guys think. So feel free to leave those in the comments below.
Or any sport for that matter.
Any sport.
Baseball,
and we'll make sure to get back to you.
Any team sport, best team ever. Feel free to leave it down below, comment. Like the video, subscribe. Yeah, we appreciate everything, guys.
Follow us on Instagram. And we will bring you guys another episode very soon, most likely next week.
Something.
So we appreciate you guys again. This is the Getaway, our way to connect. Peace.